The reckoning dawned. The stars seemed dimmer from Earth these days. Captain Elara Reeves stood at the viewport of the underground bunker that had served as humanity's last command center for the past 8 years. The distant pinpricks of light that once inspired dreams of exploration now represented a harsh reality. Earth was no longer humanity's alone. The Kalari Empire had arrived without warning 13 years ago. Their massive ships had darkened skies across the planet as they systematically dismantled Earth's defenses. Their technology was centuries beyond humanity's, their ships impervious to Earth's most powerful weapons. Cities fell in days. Governments collapsed in weeks. Within a month, the Kalari had established total dominion over Earth, relegating humans to the status of a subjugated species. "Captain, the Council is ready for you." Lieutenant Darius Kim's voice pulled Elara from her thoughts. She nodded, straightening her worn uniform. One of the last remnants of the United Earth Defense Force. "How many made it to the meeting?" she asked, falling into step beside her second-in-command. 23 representatives. The Australian contingent couldn't make it. Kalari patrols have increased along their transit routes. Ilara's jaw tightened. That's the third council meeting they've missed. The Kalari are getting better at tracking our movements. The command center was buried 2 kilometers beneath the ruins of what had once been Montreal. The journey through the labyrinthine tunnel system took them past hydroponics labs, makeshift hospitals, and training facilities where children born after the invasion learned combat alongside mathematics. This wasn't just a military installation. It was one of humanity's last true cities. The council chamber fell silent as Elara entered. Representatives from surviving resistance cells across the globe watched her with a mixture of hope and desperation. Some attended via secure holographic connections, their images flickering with the limited power they could spare. "Project Lazarus is ready," Elara announced without preamble. The room erupted in murmurs. Dr. Vivian Chen, head of the science division, stepped forward. Her right arm, a prosthetic fashioned from salvaged Kalari technology, gleamed under the harsh lights. "We've successfully integrated the quantum entanglement drive. The fleet can launch within 72 hours. 8 years of desperate work. 8 years of salvaging Kalari technology, reverse engineering their weapons, and building in absolute secrecy." While the Kalari believed they had crushed human resistance to merely scattered guerrilla fighters, humanity had been preparing a reckoning. "What about the outer colonies?" asked the representative from the African Alliance, his hologram crackling. "Have we received confirmation of their readiness?" Elara activated the central display, revealing a star map. Small blue dots illuminated across the solar system. Hidden human outposts established on Mars, Europa, Titan, and a dozen other locations across the system. "All colonies are go. The Lazarus Protocol has been synchronized." She zoomed in on Mars, where the largest shipyards had been constructed beneath the red planet's surface. 300 warships built with hybridized human innovation and Kalari technology. "They've never seen anything like what we're about to unleash." The representative from the Asian coalition leaned forward. "And the crews? Are they ready?" This had been the most challenging aspect of the plan. Training pilots and crews to operate spacecraft significantly more advanced than anything humans had built before the invasion. As ready as they'll ever be. The neural interface systems have accelerated training by 400%. Every pilot has logged at least 1,000 hours in simulation. The council debated for hours, reviewing contingency plans, discussing casualty projections, and planning for post-liberation governance. As the meeting concluded, the European representative, an elderly woman who had once been a celebrated diplomat, raised the question they all feared. "And if we fail? If this is our one shot, and we miss?" Elara met her gaze steadily. "Then humanity goes extinct with dignity, fighting rather than slowly suffocating under Kalari rule. But we won't fail. We can't." 3 days later, Elara stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, flagship of humanity's resurrection fleet. The vessel had been constructed in sections across 4 different hidden facilities, assembled only 2 months ago in the massive underground cavern beneath Olympus Mons. At 1.2 kilometers long, it represented the pinnacle of human engineering combined with adapted Kylari technology. "All ships report ready, Captain," Lieutenant Kim announced from his station. Around them, the bridge crew worked with focused intensity, neural interfaces glowing softly at their temples. Ilara examined the tactical display. The Kylari maintained a substantial presence in Earth orbit, 15 capital ships, and their support vessels. Their central command platform, a massive structure they called the Dominion Spire, loomed over what had once been the Pacific Ocean. "Begin Phase 1, Ilara ordered. All ships maintain stealth protocols until synchronized attack positions are achieved." The plan had been rehearsed countless times. The fleet would emerge simultaneously from hidden bases across the solar system, converging on Earth in a precisely coordinated assault. The element of surprise was their greatest advantage. The Kylari had grown complacent, believing humanity thoroughly subjugated. As the Nemesis rose silently through the Martian atmosphere, cloaked by advanced stealth technology, Ilara received an unexpected notification. "Captain, we're detecting an unknown vessel approaching Mars. Configuration doesn't match Kylari design parameters." Ilara's blood ran cold. After years of planning, could they be discovered now? On screen. The vessel that appeared in the display was unlike anything she'd seen before. Where Kylari ships were all angular brutality, this craft had an almost organic quality, its surface rippling with iridescent patterns. "It's broadcasting a message," the communications officer reported. "Not on any known Kylari frequency." "Let's hear it." The voice that filled the bridge was melodic, its translator rendering the alien language with an almost musical quality. "Attention, unidentified vessels. This is Ambassador Thalos of the Meridian Alliance. We detect your launch preparations and offer assistance against the Kylari occupation force." Murmurs spread across the bridge. The Meridian Alliance was little more than a rumor, a supposed coalition of species that operated beyond the reach of the expansionist Kylari Empire. "This could be a trap," Lieutenant Kim warned. "The Kylari could be attempting to draw us out." Ilara considered their options. If this truly was a potential ally, their chances of success would increase dramatically. If it was a trap, open a channel, she decided. Secured Protocol Theta. When the connection established, Ilara found herself facing a being with features that seemed to blend avian and reptilian characteristics. Its iridescent scales shifted colors as it moved. "Ambassador Thalos, this is Captain Ilara Reeves of the Earth Resistance. Your arrival is unexpected." The alien's head tilted in what might have been curiosity. "The Meridian Alliance has monitored the Kylari expansion with growing concern. Your species' resistance has been noted. Though frankly, we did not expect such technological advancement from humans in so short a time." There was something in the ambassador's tone, a subtle condescension that Ilara had heard before, from the Kylari themselves when they first arrived, proclaiming humanity too primitive to deserve the resources of Earth. "We're full of surprises, Ambassador. But I must know, what assistance are you offering? And why now, after 8 years of Kylari occupation?" The alien's scales rippled in what might have been discomfort. "The Alliance operates with caution. Intervention against the Kylari requires significant deliberation. We can offer tactical support and diplomatic recognition should your resistance prove viable." The unspoken message was clear. The Meridian Alliance was hedging its bets, unwilling to fully commit until they saw if humanity could actually challenge the Kylari. "We appreciate your offer, Ambassador," Ilara replied carefully. "But Operation Starfall is already underway. You're welcome to observe our viability firsthand." She nodded to her communications officer to end the transmission. Lieutenant Kim looked troubled. "Captain, rejecting potential allies." "They're not allies yet, Lieutenant. They're opportunists waiting to see which way the wind blows." Ilara turned to her tactical officer. Has our position been compromised? Negative, Captain. Stealth systems remain operational. The Meridian vessel appears to be withdrawing to a safe distance. Good. Resume Operation Starfall. All ships proceed to attack coordinates. The Nemesis continued its silent ascent, joining hundreds of other vessels as they moved into position. The Kalari remained oblivious, their sensors unable to detect the hybridized stealth technology that humanity had perfected. As the fleet reached its final positions, Ilara addressed all ships. For 8 years, we've lived under Kalari boots. They believe they've conquered us. They believe we're broken. Today, we show them how wrong they are. She paused, feeling the weight of billions of lives, both those lost and those depending on this moment. Humanity doesn't break. We adapt. We evolve. And now we take back what's ours. All ships disengage stealth systems and execute attack pattern Alpha. Across the solar system, humanity's fleet revealed itself. The Kalari response was immediate but disorganized. They had no contingency for a massive coordinated attack from what they believed to be a thoroughly defeated species. The Nemesis led the charge toward Earth, its revolutionary quantum weapons tearing through Kalari defenses. The technology that had once been used to subjugate humanity had been modified, improved, and turned against its creators. Kalari command vessel is attempting to coordinate their response, Lieutenant Kim reported as the battle unfolded. Their communications are in disarray. On the tactical display, Ilara watched as the human fleet executed the attack with precision, born of desperate determination. The neural interfaces gave human pilots reaction times that rivaled the Kalari's own enhanced reflexes. The Meridian Alliance vessel maintained its distance, observing as humanity launched the largest counteroffensive the galaxy had ever seen. Ilara imagined the ambassador's surprise as human ships outmaneuvered Kalari defenses that had held dozens of other species in check across the galaxy. 6 hours into the battle, the tide had clearly turned. 7 Kalari capital ships had been destroyed or disabled, and the remainder were falling back to defensive positions around the Dominion Spire. "They're calling for reinforcements," the communications officer announced. "Tracking transmissions to the nearest Kalari fleet approximately 3 days from our position." Ilara nodded. They had anticipated this. Proceed to Phase 2. All ships form up for the assault on the Dominion Spire. As the Nemesis led the charge toward Earth's atmosphere, the Meridian vessel finally broke its silence. "Captain Reeves," Ambassador Thelos's voice carried a new tone, respect tinged with astonishment. "The Alliance formally recognizes the human resistance as a legitimate military force. We offer immediate tactical support against the Kalari reinforcements." Ilara allowed herself a small smile. "Better late than never, Ambassador. We'll accept your support against the reinforcements. But Earth, we reclaim ourselves." The Nemesis descended toward the Dominion Spire, leading humanity's unstoppable return. The unstoppable tide. The Dominion Spire gleamed like a malevolent dagger thrust into Earth's heart. From the bridge of the Nemesis, Ilara could see the massive structure dominating the skyline of what had once been Wellington, New Zealand. For 8 years, it had stood as the ultimate symbol of Kalari dominance, a command center, processing facility, and constant reminder that Earth now belonged to alien conquerors. "Kalari defensive formation is shifting," Lieutenant Kim reported, his eyes tracking the movement of enemy vessels. "They're consolidating around the spire. 17 destroyers, 3 battle cruisers, and what appears to be their flagship." The initial shock of humanity's coordinated attack was wearing off. The Kalari were regrouping, their natural tactical brilliance asserting itself. Screens throughout the bridge showed the massive space battle continuing in Earth orbit. Human vessels engaged in desperate combat with the remaining Kalari fleet. "Status of ground forces?" Ilara asked, watching as a squadron of human fighters executed a perfect attack run against a Kalari destroyer, their modified weapons penetrating shields that had once been impervious to Earth's technology. "All resistance cells report ready," Kim replied. Orbital bombardment has created the planned openings in Kailari ground defenses. Dropships are commencing deployment. This was the most dangerous phase of Operation Starfall. The simultaneous ground assault against key Kailari installations across the planet. While the space battle drew the enemy's attention, resistance fighters would emerge from hiding to strike at critical targets. "Captain," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a direct transmission from the Kailari command vessel. They're requesting to speak with our leader." Ilara straightened her uniform. "Put them through." The main screen flickered, revealing the imposing figure of a Kailari overseer, standing nearly 3 meters tall, with gleaming exoskeletal armor integrated into its gray-blue flesh. The alien regarded Ilara with compound eyes that reflected the bridge lights in fractured patterns. "This is Overseer Vexkar of the Dominion." The alien's voice rumbled through the translator. "You have violated the terms of your species' surrender. This insurrection will be met with extreme measures." Ilara met the alien's gaze steadily. "There was no surrender, Overseer. Only a tactical retreat while we prepared our response. I am Captain Ilara Reeves of the Free Human Fleet, and we are here to reclaim our world." "You made a fatal mistake, Overseer," Ilara replied calmly. "You judged us by what you saw, not by what we could become. Humanity doesn't develop linearly like the Kailari. We evolve exponentially. You gave us 8 years to study your technology, adapt it, and improve upon it. You should have eradicated us when you had the chance." The Overseer's compound eyes flared. "Your primitive understanding off." Ilara cut the transmission with a gesture. "Tactical, what's the status of the Meridian Alliance forces?" "They've engaged the incoming Kailari reinforcements at the edge of the system, Captain. Their technology appears remarkably advanced. They're holding the line." "Good. Continue the assault on the Dominion Spire. Prepare ground teams for insertion." 3 hours later, Ilara stood in the dropship bay, securing her combat armor. Around her, 50 elite soldiers prepared for what might be the most crucial mission of the entire operation: the infiltration of the Dominion Spire and the deactivation of its planetary defense grid. Until those defenses were neutralized, the human fleet couldn't deliver the final blow to the Kailari command structure. Dr. Chen approached, carrying what appeared to be modified neural interfaces. "These are the new countermeasure devices," she explained, handing one to Ilara. "They should protect against Kailari psionic attacks. We've only had limited field testing, but the results were promising." Ilara nodded, attaching the device to her temple. A subtle hum resonated through her skull as it activated. "Any word from the Mars colonies?" "They've successfully repelled the Kailari counterattack," Chen confirmed. "The shipyards remain secure." That was crucial. If Earth fell, Mars would become humanity's fallback position, a place to regroup and continue the fight. Lieutenant Kim approached, now clad in assault armor. "Dropships ready, Captain. Ground teams report Kailari forces in disarray in multiple sectors. Resistance cells have captured 3 regional control centers already." "Excellent." Ilara addressed the assembled strike team. "Our objective is the central control nexus on level 118 of the Dominion Spire. Intel from captured Kailari officers confirms that's where we can access the defense grid controls. The Spire will be heavily defended. Elite Kailari guards and automated security systems. We go in fast, we hit hard, and we don't stop until that grid is down." The dropships launched from the Nemesis like metal predators, streaking through Earth's atmosphere toward the Dominion Spire. Kailari air defenses tracked them immediately, energy weapons lashing out from ground installations. "Evasive pattern Delta," Ilara ordered as their ship rocked from a near miss. The pilot, neural interface glowing, executed maneuvers that would have been impossible for an unaugmented human. Through the viewport, Ilara could see the devastation the Kailari had wrought on what had once been a vibrant city. Vast processing facilities had replaced suburbs, extracting Earth's resources for shipment off-world. Structures built to alien proportions dominated the landscape, while human dwellings had been reduced to cramped efficiency units where workers lived when not laboring for their overlords. Approaching insertion point, the pilot announced. Defense fire intensifying. 2 escort fighters exploded as concentrated Kylari fire found its mark. Their dropship shuddered as debris impacted its shields. "We've lost dropship 3, Kim reported grimly. Ilara steeled herself against the loss. Every soldier knew the stakes. Continue approach. All units prepare for hot insertion. Their dropship screamed toward a maintenance platform halfway up the massive spire. At the last moment, the pilot unleashed a barrage of countermeasures, creating a momentary gap in the defensive fire. The ship slammed onto the platform, its landing struts absorbing the impact. "Go, go, go," Ilara shouted as the ramp descended. The strike team poured out, immediately engaging the Kylari security forces that rushed to respond. The battle was intense and close-quartered. Kylari guards, with their superior strength and integrated weapons, were formidable opponents, but humanity had spent years studying their tactics, their weaknesses. The strike team moved with coordinated precision, neural interfaces allowing them to communicate and respond with superhuman speed. Ilara led a squad through the first security checkpoint, their modified weapons cutting through Kylari armor that had once been impenetrable to human firearms. "Access point located," she announced as they reached a central elevator shaft. "Technical team, get those doors open." As the technicians worked, Lieutenant Kim monitored the broader battle, orbital engagement continuing. Kylari forces down to 40% strength. Ground forces report capturing key installations in Asia and North America. The elevator doors slid open, revealing an empty shaft. "Ascension gear," Ilara ordered. The team attached magnetic clamps to the shaft walls, beginning their climb toward level 118. Halfway up, Kylari security detected their presence. Automated defense turrets emerged from concealed positions, filling the shaft with energy pulses. "Countermeasures," Ilara shouted. 2 soldiers deployed specialized devices that created momentary disruption fields, giving the team precious seconds to reach a maintenance alcove and breach an access door. They emerged into a vast chamber filled with Kylari data processing equipment. Alien technicians looked up in shock as human soldiers poured in, weapons ready. "Secure the room," Ilara ordered. "Dr. Chen, find us a way to the control nexus." Chen moved to a Kylari interface terminal, connecting her prosthetic arm directly to its systems. Her eyes unfocused slightly as she navigated the alien architecture. "I found it. 2 levels up, heavily secured. There's a maintenance conduit that might get us there undetected." As the team regrouped, the building shuddered violently. "The Nemesis is engaging the spire's upper defenses," Kim reported, "creating a diversion for us." Ilara nodded. "Lead the way, Doctor." The maintenance conduit was cramped for humans, clearly designed for the smaller maintenance drones the Kylari used for routine repairs. The team crawled through in single file, emerging finally into a corridor 1 level below their target. They encountered heavy resistance immediately, a squad of elite Kylari guards equipped with the latest battle armor. The ensuing firefight was devastating, costing them 8 soldiers before the last Kylari fell. "We're running out of time," Ilara said, checking the building schematic Chen had downloaded. "Reinforcements will be here any minute." They found a utility lift that carried them to level 118. The control nexus doors were sealed, guarded by automated defense systems that activated as they approached. "Cover me," Chen said, moving forward with a specialized device attached to her prosthetic arm. As the team provided suppressing fire against the defense turrets, she reached the main door, interfacing directly with its security protocols. "Their systems are adapting," she warned, her face contorted with concentration. "I can get us in, but not for long." The massive doors slid apart just enough for the team to slip through. Inside, they found the heart of the Kylari control system, a vast chamber dominated by a holographic display of Earth and the surrounding space. Kylari officers worked at stations around the periphery, monitoring the battle raging above the planet. Overseer Vexkar stood at the central platform, its massive form radiating fury as the humans burst in. "You dare!" it roared, activating integrated weapons systems within its exoskeletal armor. The team scattered as energy pulses ripped through the air. Ilara rolled behind a console, returning fire with calculated precision. "Dr. Chen, find the defense grid controls." Kim, left flank. The battle for the control nexus was chaos. Kylari officers, though not primary combat units, were still formidable opponents. The human strike team, reduced now to 32 effectives, fought with the desperate intensity of those who knew failure meant extinction. Chen made her way around the periphery of the room, using the confusion of battle as cover. "I've located the primary node," she called out, reaching a specialized console near the rear of the chamber. Overseer Vexkar noticed her intent too late. As it turned to stop her, Ilara and Kim concentrated their fire on its position, forcing the massive alien to seek cover. "Humanity is nothing," the Overseer roared. "A cosmic accident. You exist only by the grace of species far greater than your own." Chen's prosthetic arm interfaced with the Kylari systems, the hybrid technology allowing her to navigate defenses that would have been impenetrable to standard human approaches. "I'm in their network," she announced, initiating defense grid shutdown. Vexkar emerged from cover, its armor smoking from multiple hits but still functional. It focused its attention on Chen, raising an integrated weapon. "Your species will be erased from." A precise shot from Ilara's rifle struck the Overseer in a gap between armor plates. The alien staggered, green ichor seeping from the wound. "You cannot prevail," it gasped. "We already have," Ilara replied, advancing with her weapon trained on the Kylari leader. "Unlike you, we learn from our defeats. We adapt. We overcome." Throughout the chamber, holographic displays flickered as Chen's intrusion took effect. "Defense grid offline," she announced triumphantly, transmitting control codes to the fleet. Outside, the space battle shifted dramatically as the Kylari vessels suddenly lost their connection to the Spire's coordinated defense systems. The human fleet, led by the Nemesis, pressed their advantage mercilessly. Vexkar, mortally wounded but still dangerous, lunged for a final command console. "Purge protocols. Earth will die with us." Lieutenant Kim's rifle barked 3 times in rapid succession. The Overseer collapsed, its massive form crashing to the floor with a sound like breaking machinery. "Secure the room," Ilara ordered, moving to the central platform. From here, she could see the battle unfolding both in space and across the planet's surface. Human forces were advancing on all fronts, reclaiming territories that had been under Kylari control for 8 long years. She opened a channel to the fleet. "This is Captain Reeves. The Dominion Spire is secured. Defense grid is down. All ships commence final attack pattern." From the Nemesis and other capital ships, a final barrage targeted the remaining Kylari vessels. Without the coordinated defense grid, they fell quickly, their once superior technology now outmatched by humanity's desperate innovations. As the last Kylari command ship attempted to flee the system, it encountered the Meridian Alliance vessels that had been engaging the reinforcements. Caught between 2 forces, it was quickly neutralized. "Captain," communications reported, "Ambassador Thalos is requesting to speak with you." The Meridian representative appeared on screen, its iridescent scales now pulsing with what might have been excitement or agitation. "Captain Reeves, the Alliance observes your victory with astonishment. The Kylari have never been defeated so thoroughly." Ilara stood tall, despite her exhaustion and injuries. "The Alliance should take note, Ambassador. Humanity won't be underestimated again." "Indeed not," the alien agreed. "The Alliance formally extends an invitation for Earth to send representatives to our council. Your species has earned consideration. We'll consider your invitation, Ambassador. But first, We have a planet to rebuild." As the transmission ended, Lieutenant Kim approached. "Ground forces report the last major Kalari strongholds are surrendering. Resistance cells have taken control of all primary cities." Ilara looked out at the planet below, scared, wounded, but now free again. "Begin recovery operations. Priority on civilian areas and infrastructure." "What about the Kalari prisoners?" Kim asked. Ilara considered this. "We're not them. We don't eradicate species. Secure them for now. We'll determine their status once immediate recovery operations are complete." Dr. Chen joined them, her prosthetic arm now interfaced with the Spire's main systems. "Captain, I've accessed their database. It's incredible. Star charts, technological schematics, detailed information on dozens of species and civilizations. Knowledge they denied us," Ilara noted. "Knowledge they believed we weren't worthy of." "There's more," Chen added, her expression serious. "Records indicate the Kalari have subjugated at least 7 other species across this sector of the galaxy. Some have been under their control for centuries." Ilara gazed out at the stars, the same stars that had once seemed dimmer when viewed from an occupied Earth. "Then we have work to do, don't we?" As recovery operations began across the planet, the human fleet regrouped in orbit. The Nemesis, battle-scared but triumphant, took up position above Earth's northern hemisphere. From the bridge, Ilara watched as humanity began the process of reclaiming their world. But her thoughts were already turning outward, to the stars where other species might be suffering as humans had suffered. The Kalari had made a fundamental error in their assessment of humanity. They had seen a technologically inferior species and assumed that inferiority was intrinsic rather than circumstantial. They had failed to recognize humanity's greatest strength, the ability to face overwhelming odds, to endure, to adapt, and ultimately to overcome. As reports came in from across the planet of Kalari installations being dismantled and human communities emerging from hiding, Ilara allowed herself to truly believe, for the first time in 8 years, that humanity would not merely survive. They would thrive. And the galaxy would never be the same.